Welcome back, everybody. Today's video it's not much of a it's not a review. It's something I purchased for the 4040 CNC, and it's something that I think is going to aid me, and I've been looking at various things. Now this is, if you remember on one of the previous videos, I created a dust shield for the this is, by the way, the Sainsmart one, but if you can remember, it's magnetic is the Sainsmart one, and it comes with an aluminium boss at the top, and it comes with a centerpiece which is a great deal wider, and it's magnetic. You can take it apart. Works perfectly. I'm not saying it doesn't. However, it only works on the smaller spindles. It doesn't work on the latest spindle I've got, which is the 800 watt VFD controlled air-cooled spindle. So I wanted something that would work off that spindle, and I did a lot of looking about, and yes, I could have 3D printed one myself, and I thought I wanted to see what were out on the market there, because a lot of people are using the 65mm diameter spindles. Now the spindle, the dust shield that I've got, and my spindle, this will work absolutely fine. It's got the same outlet pipe there for the vacuum hose that I use. This, don't get me wrong, it's still magnetic, is this, and I've printed that little ring which clips on to there. Let me get it on. Clips into, because there's a little, what you've got to remember is on the original Sainsmart one, it's got little ridges on which sit in. Now that, whether it's manufacturing defect or what, I don't know, but the little ridges on the inside, you see it's grooved. You can see that. It's got a little groove in top and bottom. Those grooves are not the same, because that little part that sticks out like a tenon all the way around fits on this side, but it's different to that one. Whether it's slightly manufacturing, I've no idea. So I had to adjust that one to fit. That is magnetic, it fits on, and what's more, it doesn't move. Now that goes on the bottom of the VFD spindle, on that collar, and then you've got some adjusting, as I showed you in the video that I did on this, and you adjust them and it locks it in place. You put it to where you want and it clears everything, and obviously your cutter sticks out of there, so you are limited to what you can do. But I am going to print one of these spacers though slightly wider, so that I can use it at different heights. However, I wanted to look for something that was more substantial, and I think I found it. This dust shoe that I'm going to show you, it comes with a collar for the 65mm spindles, and it comes with a collar for the 69mm spindles, so it should fit either. However, it won't fit on my main CNC, my Pro one, because that has a big shroud around it. Now in order to get the hose in, that shroud is stopping the hose from getting in. It has to come out further, but I'm going to see if I can adapt it, because if it is, I'm going to get another one of these, keep this for the 4040 and then get another one for me Pro. So what I'll do is I'll show you this. It is an unboxing, but as I say, it's just showing you what I've used and what I'm going to use and what I think about it. It's by all means, I'm not recommending anything. I don't recommend anything really on my channel unless I know it's really, really good, because it's bit me in the backside for today. I've recommended some, and somebody's had trouble with what I've recommended. They've come back at me. I thought you've recommended this, it was good. Well, you get good and bad in all products, no matter how expensive they are. You'll have to excuse the the noise in the background, because it's the Ambo Labs X1C printing away some ABS. There are only some honeycomb hold downs that I need for the project that I'm doing. By the way, look out on my channel. There's a video coming on shortly which will show you me using the X-Tool D1 laser and I'm producing what I call as Santa's Express. It's a train and a tender unit, all locked together, and it's to put goodies in for your kids for Christmas and Christmas Day if you want to. Special things, not just the big presents, because it won't take a big presents, but it's got room inside the train and it's got room inside the tender. I'm engraving them, and to say the least, my daughter's painting them. And the first one I'm doing is doing it for my grandson Theo, and she's making an absolute fantastic job of painting them. But I will show you that, so stay tuned for that. Right, back to this. Comes well packaged. Took a few days for it to come, but it arrived. Let's have a look. Let's put that on the floor, take the pieces out, and right, there we are. Nothing else in the box. Get rid of that. Right, here you can see the components for this dust shoe, and I think it's an absolute brilliant idea. I'll tell you what, the only problem I can foresee with this, but it's only a minor problem. Right, let me take this out. As it is there, that will clamp around. It's all made out of, I think it's ABS. I'm not too sure on it. Got the same outlet as that, so you can see in the hose fits. You can see the difference in size. Now will fit a 69mm spindle, okay, but mine is a 65, so, and there's a little notch on the spacer. You get a spacer with it, okay, that sits in. You then, once you adjust it up to where you want it, you clamp it round and it tightens on. It's as simple as that. Underneath it's all magnetic, right? Now the beauty about this, I am going to show you the brushes in. These are the brushes, okay. There's two sets there, one set there and another set there, okay. And so you've got plenty of brush to go at. There's two different, I believe there's two different, oh, the same length. It's supposed to be two different, oh that's right, yep, two different lengths of brush, you can see. That's the longer one, that's the shorter one, you can see that. So yeah, they give you two sets of brushes, and they slide in there, they clip in there, alright. I'll show you why. This is magnetic, so once you clip that on there, so, and this is really strong, so I'm having it, if you can imagine the spindle, let me just move you up a little bit more. Right, that's the spindle there, front of the machine is here, okay, so this will go to the left hand side of the spindle. That then clips underneath on that side with a brushing. This then clips underneath on that side. And it's strong, won't come off. Now you can see the advantages of that is the fact that when I want to change a cutter, I don't have to take this off, pull that off, change the cutter, or watch it to see what's happening from the front, okay. And you can maneuver this part, the two parts, round wherever you want. So you can have it round there, you can have it round there, it doesn't matter. You can have that round there or that round there. However, the only fault that I can find with this, and it doesn't specifically say it's for the 4040, is the 4040 spindle that I've got at the moment is the 800 watt air-cooled VFD, and it's quite long. Now this will have to be, the spindle will have to go down quite a bit into the actual housing that the spindle sits in. So in order, and then clamp it up, because this goes on the motor at the bottom. Now the only problem is that if you put this on the spindle and it's high up, when it goes up to zero off, you could find out that this back edge here would catch the actual strip, the two limit switches on for the Z-axis or Z-axis, or as some people like me to call it. So the Z-axis limit switches, the bar that it's on would actually catch this, and it would jam. There's no mistake. So you have to make sure that if you've got the 800 watt spindle, that it's actually down far enough. And it's easy to do, because all you do is take it up to its limit, the spindle, the Z-axis, put your spindle in, put this on, and then move it back up, your spindle, until, and you'll know then, I'll put a mark on the motor. I will know then, and leave about 5 mil between that bar and the back, any part of this side. As I say, these will have to go at the side, front or back. You've got to remember you've got to clamp it, so just be aware of that. I like mine to the left hand side. But as I say, it does clamp on really firmly. But you must make sure that your spindle, when it's in and your Z-axis, your Z-axis is up at its maximum, where it would trip out its limit, then this doesn't catch that frame at the bottom. Alright? If you understand what I'm saying. I don't know, I don't use the 750 watt I think it is, or 700 watt router spindle that you can get, and Sainsmart do one. It obviously sits in the clamp, 65 mil I think it is, but I don't know whether there's enough length on that motor to push it down to put that on, so be aware of that. But I've looked, and there's various metal ones, there's all sorts of different. Sainsmart do one, a biggish one, and I'm no doubt, you know, it will be fine. I haven't tried it. I'd like to have tried it, but I weren't paying the money that they wanted for it. This, believe it or not, was 27 quid. And to get 2 brush sets, fully magnetic, easy clamp, you can take it off, put it back on. I think it's pretty good. And it's 3D printed, but I think it's well 3D printed. It's out of some very, very tough material. As I say, it looks like ABS to me, but I'm no expert on that. But this is probably one of the, I think, is one of the better dust shoes on the market so far. I've had it on the machine, it fits and it goes up and down, and I can see its advantage. However, if you're using the 4th axis, you must remember the 4th axis, especially if you're using spacer blocks like I do, lifts the 4th axis up so you can get more of a swing, get more diameter in. Then that spindle has to be right up, in which case I can't use this dust shoe. But that's where this dust shoe comes in. I don't always like to use a dust shoe on rotary, because I had a situation where using this one, and I was doing the night on the chest piece, and it was quite small. I was just doing a test run of it really, and I had this on, and it had done it so fine at the top that when the brushes hit it, I knew what would happen, because it were held on at the top of the horse's head on the night by a small amount, and it was enough for the brush got at a certain angle as it think, and it broke it off. So be aware of that. But I can use that on the rotary. I can't see being able to use it on the rotary, but as I don't use the rotary that often, I don't see it's a problem. But I do use it for, I will use this a lot for the main work on the bed. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So that is a little bit of a review, but it's just to show you what I'd got. And apparently these just the brush is just pushing, and I think, yeah, you can see I can just pop them in. So yeah, I think it's well worth it. 27 quid, and it was off Amazon. If anybody's interested, and you want, I don't know whether you could probably use it on other CNCs. I don't know. But I know I got this for the future, whether I get a 69mm spindle for the Pro machine, which will be a bigger one. But I'll have to adapt the cowl. So I don't know. But for the 4040, I know this will work fine. I will show you it running. Not today, not in this video. But next time I do a video on the 4040, I will use the dust shoe and show you it working. Well, that's it for this video. Watch out for the videos on the Christmas Santa Express train. Well, I didn't call it that. I called it Santa's Christmas Eve night train. And I'm going to do a Christmas Eve night train. But my daughter, for her grandson, wanted Santa's Express. So I've done her one. Watch out for that. The train unit is separate to the tender, so there'll be two videos, one on the actual train and one on the tender. Now the train one, I will show you, obviously, and tell you about some of the mistakes that I found, or I did, and trial and error in order to get to a finished product. It all fits together. And from the painting that I've seen, it looks very, very nice indeed. It's a Christmas project, and I'm going to try and do, I've got somebody asking me for one, so I've no doubt I will be doing that. It's got his name on, but the printer's been on and it's been making some hold downs for the honeycomb bed, because if anybody's used 3mm MDF or plywood, thin plywood, find out that it's never flat. You always get it curved, and it's always on one side, and you'll get either bowed on one side or four corners touching, and if you turn it over, you can press the middle down. I always work, it's everybody's preference, I always work with the corners up. Because if you work with the corners down, they're all touching. That's absolutely fine if you want to do it that way. But you can push the middle down. So when you're focusing, you can only focus on the top part, on a fixed focus. Not like the X tool that, you know, I think it's the S1 that'll probe it and do it and adjust itself. With a fixed one, the X tool D1 is fixed. So when you get to the edge, it'll be lower, no matter which corner you go to. And if you're using the full sheet, that's when you end up with problems, out of focus, and it affects you on cutting as well as engraving. So what I like to do is flick it over and have the four corners up, and then what I do is I push hold downs in each corner and turn it, and they're thin enough on the top that at focus the actual protective guard around the laser head actually skims over that. It doesn't touch it. So, and that's the thing with magnets sometimes. If you're using the full extremity of the sheet, then your plastic guard will hit the magnet, knock it off, and then it'll flick it up. So these are hold downs that go on each corner, so it holds them down. You can put them where you want around the edge, because the plastic guard doesn't touch it. Alright, and it holds the corners down, but your middle's also down, so it's completely flat. That's how I prefer to work. Everybody's choice, but that's how I prefer to work. Right, that's it for this video. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, but it is helping my channel, and I am getting up there with numbers. I'd like a bit more viewing time, but hey, you know, if anybody's got any questions, get it down in the comment section. I will try and help you. I've had some over the last week, gentleman that's getting the spindle and getting, you know, purchasing other things that I've used. As I say, everybody gets it. Purchase anything like that, it's you're purchasing it off your own back. I don't recommend them, as I said earlier on in the video. It's just what I show you, what I use, and if I get any problems with anything that I have, I will do a video on it, like I did do with the 4040 when it came. I had problems with that, and but I sorted it out. And if you go way back to the first 4040 that came out, I was one of the first to get the 4040 in UK. And when it came with some faults, and I had to get back to the manufacturer and told them the faults that I'd found and the way to rectify it. And yep, and they did. They got back in touch with me and said, thank you very much. We've rectified all the units that are coming out now, so if you'd like to pass it on, but anybody that wants to rectify it like you did, if they've got a unit now, they'll give them $20 refund. Well, it was a simple fix, so $20 was $20. But however, I didn't realise they were still pushing them out with the same fault, because I was getting them 12 months afterwards. So there were a definite fault there that should have been fixed. And it, again, the LC40 laser, 10-watt laser that I put out, and that is an absolute brilliant, I've still got it, still use it, brilliant laser, very well made, and I don't get a fault with it. They did bring a kit out for air assist, but I converted that, my own, 3D printed a nozzle and cut through the glass at the front, the anti-reflective screen, and I've done my own, and it works a treat. I use my same air pump that the X-Tool has, that came with that, and it's fine. However, there were problems with that when it came. The fact that when you're wanting to flash to light burn, there was problems with it, and if you want to watch a video on that, if you get a chance to get a little LC40, very, very cheap, the 10 watt, I use mine, and I don't have a problem with it. It's absolutely spot on at what it does. Problem was flashing from because you could use it on a mobile phone on the app, which was great, but okay. But it's flashing from that firmware to Lightburn firmware, and it wasn't that easy. It wouldn't accept it, and I had it on every PC, and it would not flash. I had to find a way around in order to flash it. But for that, watch one of my videos on the LC40. It shows you how to go through it. And it's a cracking. I mean, in fact, I saw one for sale 2 weeks ago. I think it was on Facebook Marketplace. And somebody said, hardly been used, 10 watt. It came with the little roller as well, and the rotary with it. And they wanted £100, and it was already flashed to Lightburn, and the photographs, it was, and it said you can be seen working. Well, if you go and it can be seen working, and you're getting the rotary, and you're getting the unit itself, the laser unit, the 10 watt laser unit, £100 is an absolute snip. So look out for those. Right, that's it now. So like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I'll whit it on a little bit, but there you go. That's just me. And keep your eye out for my next videos. Click that notification. And as I always say at the end of all my videos, please be careful out there. At the moment, with what's going on in the world, it's not very nice. But let's hope we can bring a smile to everybody's face watching videos. So until next time, You be safe, you be careful, and bye for now. Bye bye.